Okay, I'm going to be trying this again in the hopes that it's going to work out a little better. Still on the PS5, it's still working here. Anyway, yes, picking up from where we left off. Oceanids are the people! And the primordial seawater reverses the process and turns them into water.
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydra Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them.
Yes, and it would smite them where they would stand.
This must be the point when the Hydra Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydra Archon sin are the same thing?
Well, one can only imagine.
The third slate shows the Hydra Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people.
Possibly Farina. Because it looks more like Farina than it does Ageria. We still don't really know what Ageria looks like. Oh god, it seems like the stream is still... Okay, well... It's still struggling a little bit, but... Well... Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, well, I still have the phone here to make sure the streaming is here, and hi, Joey, I don't know what you want. Why are you being such a little cheaply? It's like, I give you attention, like, all the time. You just want my constant attention. Oops, no, I didn't mean to full screen it. Oops. Don't... why does it keep doing that? Yeah, at least I have no idea if it'll, like, fix itself. The only other alternative that I could think of is... Fingers crossed that this saves. And I can maybe just upload it as, like, a VOD. Because, yeah, honestly... It almost seems like it's a YouTube thing, because YouTube is struggling to run this on the phone. The technology on my end, besides that, is not. That's the strange thing. And I know Ice was telling me possibly that the capture card might have been the problem, but then that doesn't still explain why I'm recording it perfectly. Oops. Okay, well, I'm going to switch over to my... Well, swapped over to my old iPhone 6, and it's like, experiencing interruptions? Why, yes, sir, I am. Oh, yeah, so I have no idea. But, well, it seems to me that the stream is fine. But at least looking at it on my phone here, it keeps stopping and buffering. Like right now, it's stuck. And then it just moved a second, and now it's stuck again. Oops. Okay, well. If you can hear the echoing, that's me actually getting it on my phone, trying to see what the hell is going on here. Well, like I said, if it really does turn out that this stream is kind of a bust, the only other alternative I can think of is praying that this stream file survives, and then I can upload it later, and anyone who wants to watch it that way later, they can. Because this has gone on for far too long. And I'm not even going to tell you, like, all the different things I've tried just to get this to work.
Huh. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else?
And yeah, obvious reference to the child dream, where he's in the primordial seawater with the giant whale.
Well, the first slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on.
And as I pointed out in the last stream, that imagery of her sitting on the chair when the guilty verdict was delivered, she was crying. And it was almost like that imagery was right there. She wasn't exactly on a throne, but she was on a fancy chair, weeping.
We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Okay. So, all of Cher's abductions and murdering experiments pretty much proved this.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Because it's almost as though it's returning them into, like, a water state. Unfortunately, not an Oceanid state, which you would think, but I don't quite know how Oceanid biology works. Oh, I already know that. Oh, there we go. I keep wanting to use the D-pad for that. Alright, so it shows Celestia floating in the sky, Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it, but Celestia comes down to smite them where they stand. Oops. Okay. This isn't... Oh, though... Wait a minute. Let's see, the entrance to the primordial sea is sealed beneath the forbidden zone.
That doesn't sound quite right. Let's think about this some more. That doesn't sound...
Okay, here we go. Well... The original sin. Duh.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
And thus, even though Farina is a Hydro Archon, that wasn't her burden to bear. But it seems as though she did inherit that sin from Egeria. Okay, it shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many people. Okay, I think now we can... Well, it doesn't mention anything about the whale, but...
That doesn't sound...
Okay, or is it this one?
That doesn't sound...
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
That still raises the question of what's going on with Child, though. When he was floating in the Primordial Sea and he saw the whale up above him, and finally...
That doesn't sound...
Okay, well...
That doesn't...
Oh, we can still choose that thing with Child. Oh no, we never chose it to begin with.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Yes,
very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid.
Okay, so they don't automatically turn back into oceanids, but their consciousness, their essence, can give way to take form of an oceanid. So, in some ways they can kind of return back to how they were before, but it's... well, I guess it's not 100%. Which probably means we won't be seeing Melus and Silver as oceanids anytime soon, maybe. I don't know. But they were at least there to protect Navia until the very end there.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay.
But then Melus and Silver rebelled against that, trying to make sure that she didn't give in.
The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truth should come to light.
Okay, verification complete. What now?
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it!
Yeah, pretty much. So it seems a lot of current events here have mirrored some of the things described in the stone slates.
But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Yeah, that's probably... I don't know how that's gonna go down with the people of Fontaine.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontanians are not real humans. They were originally Oceanids.
incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
Yeah, I kind of wonder what their all of them, what their reaction's going to be to that. Are they going to, well, they might just start having some kind of existential crisis. Some collective existential crisis right now.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids.
I thought that they were only turned, well, the Oceanid there was like the collective wrath of all of the women that he abducted and murdered. Well, I mean, the point still kind of stands, but you do get my drift, right? Instead of having multiple Oceanids, we have one very vengeful Oceanid.
Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
And yes, that is what I was looking at. All of the people who lost their lives in Poisson, they became Oceanids. Their consciousness took that manifestation.
Indeed.
The second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontanians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission.
Okay, I guess that's why they... Yeah, because I'm sort of here thinking... What exactly would they, like, be angry about? Would it be because they viewed this action as a crime against the heavenly principles or something? Or, I guess as Paimon put it, she did it without their permission?
That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
Even though Farina wasn't the one that committed that sin. It was Egeria, but Egeria is long gone. Farina is the only one left. Henceforth, Farina basically inherits that legacy. Which is pretty schmalty because it means she's getting a lot of flack for something she didn't even do.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Indeed so. As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea?
It kind of is. When she fell into the sea, surrounded by these, well, the consciousness, each individual, their consciousness, manifesting as Oceanids surrounding her. And, well, obviously, that sham of a trial.
So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Yeah, I guess if you look at it as her weeping on the throne is not the end of the matter. The fourth slate depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
So then, are we essentially saying that Farina needs to be weeping on her throne in order for this to like this isn't the end of the prophecy, this is just something to move it forward. And I guess by that extent, the end of the prophecy is her falling into the primordial sea? Oh man. Well. And considering it seems that she can be dissolved by the primordial seawater, because remember, she stuck her hand in like some very diluted primordial seawater as to make sure that it wouldn't make her dissolve.
Did Paimon get all that right?
Yeah, I think so.
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion.
So, now that we have all 4, do you think you might be able to decipher something now?
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
The unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
Be patient.
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you.
Meanwhile, I'm kind of surprised that all the people here have been kind of silent so far, with the exception of the twins over there and Navia. I was expecting a lot of them to be, like, going crazy over this revelation here. But I don't know, unless they're all just in so much shock that they can't even process this.
Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct.
So then it is true.
In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
So then she turned them into humans so that they could live life on the surface there.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life.
So she did so, rebelling against Celestia in that sense.
Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
Although we still haven't quite seen them as Oceanids, though. With the exception of that whole experience Navia had, and the one Oceanid getting vengeance on Vacher, we haven't really seen them. Which, yeah, I mean, if you think of it that way, that would mean something like Milus and Silver are still alive as Oceanids. And if so, well, where are they?
Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the Heavenly Principles to create a new human race.
And thereby she was punished.
And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's what it sounds like.
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Okay, there's the existential crisis that I was waiting for. Well, not that I wanted them to have existential crisis, but I'm here thinking, like, if it were me, I'd be kind of freaking out right now. And, like, life as I knew it would kind of, like, shatter, because I'm here, like, my whole perception of reality and my identity are, like, thrown out the window.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Yeah, so this is a lot for them to take in all at once.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
Okay, so then it really is supposed to end with her weeping on the throne? So they are in the right order? What is the third slate supposed to represent then?
A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans than Oceanids.
Yeah, that is the... Yeah, because... well, it's almost identical to what Navia saw before they all turned into Oceanids. Once the illusion was kind of being broken, only then were we starting to see, okay, yeah, they're all Oceanids.
They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea.
Huh. So then... would it essentially mean Farina has to be submerged in water that's, well, just regular water?
The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice.
Oh. So then this is essentially what's happening right now. Farina is surrounded by the people and she is being judged. It isn't her literally being submerged in water surrounded by people.
You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate.
Yes. A very sham of a trial in which they were like, you're guilty and your sentence is to remain here forever with us because you're intertwined with us and whatnot.
Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Which is literally happening right now.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
And right now, like I said, there's that imagery again. She is sitting on this fancy chair, possibly still weeping to herself over this.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy,
You ended up fulfilling the prophecy anyway. Because everything is still proceeding as it was meant to.
in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know. It feels like there's no way out of this.
No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
Claren sounds like she's kind of... well, she's shaken.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Well, who's to say it's technically not being fulfilled right now? I keep saying she's sitting on a fancy chair weeping to herself right now.
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
Oh, okay.
About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes?
Logically.
However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come.
How can there be something worse?
As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
I have? Really? I have? Wait, could it be... the whale?
This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
Okay. What is the true source of the catastrophe? Oops. Oh. Okay, verify the truth. Okay, now we're gonna really look into this here. Became Lenny's attorney. Murder case unfolded. And they were identified as agents of the House of the Hearth. Child's conviction. Meeting with the knave. And let's see here. During the diplomatic meeting with her, she revealed she had already approached Farina on her own and believes it's possible that not only is Farina not really the Archon, but she is actually afflicted with some sort of curse. The whale in the dream. There's the whale. You saw a child floating in the sea in a dream, as well as an indescribably massive whale. And the tea time with N.
It was both dream and reality.
So then it is the whale.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
Well, it's definitely large enough to be a major threat.
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
It's the whale, then. The whale is basically... How would you say? Basically a chaos bringer?
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
It's a lot more blue and glowy now, but yes. That's right. I'd wager that it's also the one that Child saw when he was young. Wait. So you're saying that was actually... Okay, I thought that it looked as though that was him, like, after he escaped from the prison and he was floating out in the primordial sea. So now you're telling me that he saw that when he was younger? Well, alright.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here.
Considering it made itself known to damn near every single person in Fontaine, or at the very least in this city, yeah.
That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
So it's a foreign invader.
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
Yeah. Most likely.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy? All we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
Seems simple enough, right? But it's never that simple.
It is too late.
What do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically integrated with the sea itself. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
So basically it's like Frieza.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed, that's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end, no matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
Wait a minute.
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
And by the way, I did look into who voices Anne. It's Amber Connors. Not Amber Lee Connors. Amber Connors. So it's not the same voice as Yaimiko. After everything, it still turned out like this. We couldn't fight against fate. Instead, we only sped up the process. Wait, but if this is all about fate...
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save everyone? Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Farina. What was it she wanted to say to me at the last moment in the giant box? The giant magic box. You know, before she kept hesitating and putting on the false bravado and... like, just spit it out, girl! Tell me the secret already, damn it! What is her real secret?
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
No, I still need answers!
You...
Full Solar.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
That's actually closer to what I'm used to hearing Amberly Connors sound like.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I... the god.
Fusalo. Why did you deceive us?
And yeah, her voice is definitely very attractive sounding. I hate to be breaking the immersion like this, but I'm telling you, Amberly Connors is a very attractive woman with a very attractive voice. And it's sounding really nice to hear her now, here.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it?
That's kind of what I've been saying. Kinda, sort of. She inherited that sin. Unfairly and without, like, any say-so in the matter.
She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril.
Even the cadence in her voice is very similar to Farina. Yeah, just kind of listening and kind of imagining Farina's voice and Fosalor's voice. Fosalor's just sounds like very deep and soothing.
So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor.
How does that even work? I guess we may never know.
Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up.
Yup. Pretty much. She just dusted her hands and it's like, okay, it's your problem now, bye. I'm gonna go get turned into a pool of water.
But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
So then she was one of her familiars, and so then she was selected to become the Hydro Archon, then? Huh. And I guess that might explain, to some extent, why Farina was vulnerable to the seawater.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Farina would say.
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished.
You definitely have the vain and conceited part right.
Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her.
She just casually says, "So then I cursed her. Yeah, I did it." What?
All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy.
So, stage Archon Farina, real Archon Focalors pulling the strings. Well, kind of. Basically, she just kind of let Farina go nuts and do whatever she wanted to.
Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness.
That's pretty depressing.
Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it.
Are you going to apologize to her? Well, possibly not.
It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
I came into contact with Farina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contain a being's strongest emotions. With sufficiently strong hydrosensitivity, I can form an emotional connection, just like I did with that Oceanid at the Fountain of Lucine. Wait, could this be Farina's inner world? So then, Novalet went to Focalor's inner world, and we went to Farina's inner world. Farina? What is she doing on stage? Wait a moment. That probably isn't Farina. That's likely a reflection of her inner self. If I can directly speak to that self, I might be able to easily get what I wanted to know. I came here for answers. Either way, this opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her. Well, sorry, I had to try. So you cannot leave. You also can't jump over these railings here, so your only choice is to just keep going straight forward, lest you be stopped by some invisible wall. And but it looks like you can't even go up these steps or walk down this aisle. No. You just have this one straight shot to the end here. Alright. Oh, I know it's exit stage left. Or... No, actually... Wait. Whose left would it be? The audience's left or my left? Because this is technically my right. I entered stage right. Oh... I'm just here like... I'm just thinking of theater etiquette here. Okay, anyway. Just because I want Nilou to meet her. Even though it won't matter because I'm gonna go back to being Lucine. Oh, well. I can run around her. Oh, no. I was gonna see... Can I have Farina meet Farina? Well, if I had Farina out front, I guess you could have. I don't see why not. I just wanted to do that because, well, obviously, it would be kind of stupid and funny to do it. Zoom, zoom, zoom! My turn to jump on your head. Farina's just wondering, what is this hat? Can I have that hat? I don't know. You know, I'm surprised that it even lets you Among Us. It's even letting me get behind her like this. I would have imagined there'd be some kind of collision to not let me get behind her. And now Nilou is there. Well, okay, well, Nilou's not looking at the hat. She's looking, well, at whatever this spot here is. Nahida was the one looking at the hat. I'm gonna talk to you from behind you. I hope you don't mind, I'm sharing this chair with you.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules.
Yep, and back to how Farina usually sounds. I swear though, I'm like, the whole time when Fosloros was talking, I'm like, oh man. It's like, that's the Amberly Connors voice that I'm used to hearing. Farina? Come on, it's me. Oh my, am I that insignificant to you that you don't even remember my name or any of the brief moments we spent together, no matter how forgettable they may be?
All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
But I don't see an audience here. Unless it's your imaginary friends. All 85 of them. And what was that thing there when it said, "Don't look at me"?
Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it?
Ugh. Okay, we're definitely getting some conflicting signs here. It seems as though, I'm gonna guess those are her inner thoughts. Everything she's just saying is just her false bravado. Meanwhile, every single moment she's screaming inside, like, "Don't look at me," just... like, please have the lights turn off, and, like, I guess, like, she just wants to disappear right now and not have anybody look at her, talk to her, any of that.
I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
That way I can become myself again. Something's off. There's no getting through to her. Even in her heart of hearts, she's still playing the role of the Hydro Archon. And, well, knowing what we know now from Novelette talking with Focalor... Hey there, Dino. And I know the stream is lagging. At least it's lagging on my end. It seems as though it's a problem with either YouTube or my internet connection. That's actually what it was. It wasn't the PlayStation 5, it wasn't the capture card. Yeah, I don't know. My internet is just being very, very janky. I'm not even sure if you're hearing my commentary right now. Yeah, so I guess confirmed it's lagging on YouTube's end. Which very well might be something having to do with my internet connection. Alright, well, as they say, play through. Yeah, so we know that Focalors pretty much put her in to be a puppet Archon. Well, not a literal puppet Archon, but basically, well, yeah, just the stage Archon playing the role. What sort of resolve must she have that even her inner self and subconscious would have such an impenetrable defense? She must have really built up some sort of mental fortitude. Okay, well. Just answering Dino in the chat there because, well, yeah, unfortunately the commentary and, well, the stream itself seems to be lagging like every few seconds. I have to find a way. But yeah, most likely I'm gonna maybe check and see if it is the internet. Which it wouldn't be the first time something like this has happened, but well, I mean, obviously it is very annoying when it does. Cause I mean, well, yeah, it affects my ability to stream like this. And well, for the most part, I wanted to see if I could get to a stopping point. But it seems like you really can't.
First, get into position like this. Then move like that. Yep, that's it.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
No, screw you. What the? Oh. What? Why did it say it can't be? Ugh. Okay, so I have to destroy these things. Okay, this is my first time doing combat on the PS4. Oh man, it moves a lot smoother, and the controller feels a lot nicer to handle.
Dance with the waves!
Illusion shattered!
Okay, now can I turn off the other spotlights?
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
They're busy with me.
Leave it up to me, as a dutiful maid would.
Yep, meanwhile, I'm getting her with the sword here.
Huh?
Last one. As all the spotlights turned off, in Farina's heart, they must have symbolized the eyes of the people on her. Yes, and now that the spotlights are off, she is no longer in their line of sight. Speaking of which, I think I just received some sort of signal. Was that her true voice? A ticket? When did that end up here? We got the golden ticket! Now we get to visit Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Alright, no. Huh? What? Okay, it looks like now we're gonna have an audience with her. Either way, it looks like the show is about to begin. In this case, show me how you truly feel, Farina. Scene 1 before a mirror, Farina. Huh. Oh. Lumine is gone. Oh, I can't even... Okay, so you can't run off the stage even if you want to. And, well, I can't run in general. Not sure if you can hear that. I'm literally here clicking the button to run. So we're gonna slowly walk to the mirror.
Farina. Farina.
Oh, there we go with that voice again.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Look in front of you.
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
I'm just kind of here thinking to myself, what would it have been like if we were able to get this? Well, you know what I mean. Focalors, not Farina, playable. At the very least, could you at least make this like a skin? Like an optional skin for Farina and possibly throw in the sexy voice?
Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be? Near you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
You're half right.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
Are you gonna apologize to her now?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
Oh my god, that giggle she does still sends shivers down my spine. Well, except it's a lot worse, quote unquote, because... Oh my god, I'm like... Please, Focalor, keep talking more. I can't get enough of your voice.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly.
The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass? Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human, my ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role, that of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like.
And unfortunately, I kind of think she took that act way overboard. But that's just, well, actually no, it's not just me. A lot of people, when they met Farina for the first time, a lot of them hated her, and I know I was kind of leaning towards that camp. 4.1 kind of changed that a little bit for me and a lot of other people, so...
Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
A little over 500 years.
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
We definitely had a dramatic trial. And I guess from a certain point of view, it was magnificent. You know, if I'm looking specifically at it from an entertainment point of view and not so much as a thing where I'm here like, I like these characters, I don't want anything to happen to them. As if I'm just walking into this only having like maybe some base knowledge of what's going on here and like, oh, okay, like I'm a neutral party and I'm just listening in on this. So pretty much like what a lot of the people of Fontaine have been doing for so long.
A trial. Huh. How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
I come from the future and I'm here to tell you, you won't be looking forward to it. In fact, it's going to end with you sitting in a chair crying. Because everyone is going to start judging you. Act 2, Ascension Speech for Rena. Yeah, essentially, not once have I gotten a moment to basically hit that pause button, exit out of this. Well, actually, you are currently in a special story mode. If you leave, you will have to experience the content again to continue. Huh. Well, considering that the stream is still lagging, you know, that might not be a bad idea. If I have to experience the content again, well, frankly, that saves me the problem and the worry of, like, what am I trying to say? Like, I won't progress too far into the story to the point where I can't go back. If anything, I would like to go back. I don't know how far back it's going to send me, but at this point, if I just have to go back far enough, you know, before we see any of this, you know what? Sure. Let's see how far it sends me back. So let me just see one more time. You're currently in a special story mode. If you leave, you will have to experience the content again to continue. Okay, so I turned back into Nilu, and we are being... Okay, well actually... It didn't send me that far back. So... Alright. I think I'm just gonna go ahead... end the stream. Maybe try and see what the hell is going on with my internet. And yeah, just trying to make sure that something is going on here, because yeah, the stream is like lagging and buffering, and this isn't... I don't want this.
Relaxing days like this.
So yeah, I guess end of stream. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with whatever else I do. Stay golden, and later, folks.